It is the end of a month and the beginning of a new month, so it's time for me to tell you what I read last month. What month was that? April? May? Is it May? May? Was it May? So yeah, I cannot believe it is June already. My reading did start to pick up a little in May. If you guys saw my last wrap up, which was just up like a week ago, I had not so great of a month of reading in April, but May got a little better. I just have been busy. I've been a busy person, just doing stuff with my life. Like, well, who do I think I am? Who knows? So May was a little bit better. I did read a total of 9 things in May, which was pretty stinking good in my opinion. So yeah, hopefully that carries on to June because my summer TBR is going to be coming your way soon, and that shit is large. I think I'm superhuman. I don't know. So of the 9 things that I read, 3 of them were audiobooks, 2 of them are graphic novels, 1 was a poetry collection, I know, and then I read 1 adult book and then 2 YA books. I did that for a total of 1,379 pages, which ain't too bad. And if you guys didn't know, Scallywagathon happened in May as well, which was hosted by me, as well as Amanda from Read All the Books. And I will say that I didn't do great with my TBR that I posted for that. However, I did technically finish something for all the challenges. It just wasn't what I said it was gonna be. So let's go ahead and get into this wrap up. As always, I'm going to leave timestamps down below so you guys can watch whatever it is that you feel like watching, because we all know I like to ramble. Let's get into the audiobooks that I listened to. So I had a really good audiobook month. Everything that I listened to, I really enjoyed. One of the first ones that I listened to was the Last Namsara, and this was fantastic. This took me a really long time to get into, one because I was in a slump, but also because this is a pretty like detailed story, and listening to it, like, I couldn't walk away and come back and really know what was happening, honestly. It is a fantasy world. It's about this girl. It takes place in kind of like, it seems like a desert type of area, and it's about this girl that her job is to kill dragons. She is the only one that can do it. Like, it has been passed down to her. She is chosen for this job kind of deal, and her father is the king, and like, he appoints her to do these things, blah blah blah. Well, something has happened in her past, and it has made her father put her into an arranged marriage that she really wants out of. So in order to do that, she is supposed to kill like the oldest dragon and most powerful dragon. And so she goes on a quest to do that. She makes an unlikely friend in a slave boy, and things progress from there. I really loved this world. I don't know what it was about it. It just felt so unique, and I felt like I was there. Like, I was in the sand, like, smelling the heat and stuff, and like, I could see the dragons. They were beautiful. Characters too. The main character is a very strong female character, and I just loved her, like, don't give a shit attitude. I really liked the romance that happened. I thought it was a relatively healthy romance. My only complaint about this is that it was pretty cliche. I was fine all the way up until the line was used,
"Let out a breath she didn't know she was holding."
That is in this book. It bugged the hell out of me for like 15 minutes, and I tried to put it aside. I'm not gonna lie, it really bugged the hell out of me. So this does have some cliche moments, I will say, and some things are a little predictable, but the action was worth it. I loved the devious nature of everything. There were some plot twists that I just wasn't expecting, and overall just really enjoyed this. I think this is just such a great fantasy, and I'm so excited to see where this goes from here. Also, the narrator for this had an amazing accent. I don't even know what kind of accent it was, but this is on Hoopla, so if you have Hoopla and you want to listen to it, that's where to check it out. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I was just on a Hoopla kick, and I also checked out P.S. I Like You by Casey West. I have heard so many great things about Casey West, her books, and they're like contemporary YA romance, and I was just looking for some fluff. I just wanted something fun and light to just put me in a good mood, and this was a fantastic fantastic pick. I listened to this in one sitting. It was just so much fun. It's not very long. It is a little cheesy, but I don't know what you're really expecting about like a high school romance that takes place through notes, basically. It's about like this outcast girl, and she finds this like note written on her desk one day and decides to reply to it, and it starts this friendship, and it's about her figuring out who it is. And honestly, it is so obvious from the beginning who it is, but like it was still so much fun trying to figure it out, you know what I mean? So I just had so much fun listening to this, and it was just really cute, super adorable. I loved it. It kind of had a hate to love thing going on too. And I love that this had a major family dynamic, because we don't get that. And then it was like a big family, because I feel like that can be overlooked a lot of times. But this was just fun, really fun. I gave a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I did use this for one of my challenges for Scallywagathon. I don't remember which one. I'm such a great host. Who let me host things? I don't know. Then the last audiobook I also listened to for Scallywagathon was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. You guys may have seen me rave about this recently because it was fantastic. Definitely deserves all the hype it has been receiving lately. This is about like this very famous movie star. It is well after she is retired, and she requests for our narrator to come do an interview with her. And she specifically requests our narrator, and she gets down. I mean, this is like the most famous movie star of all time, and she is known for all the husbands that she has had, obviously, but it goes into like how she started her career, how she got to where she was, like all the marriages and what they meant to her, and like who she loved the most, and just her life in general. And there was just something about this, like it read like I was sitting there and Evelyn Hugo was telling me her story right there. I felt like I was there with her. I became so attached to these characters. I became so attached to the side characters. Like I wanted all the love for them, all the best. And this was just, it was fantastic. I really didn't think I was going to like this much, because it kind of reads like a memoir. But it was so stinking good. Oh my god, I loved it. And like I really didn't, I thought it was going to be boring because it's about a woman and her husbands, and it just didn't sound that great. But I thought this was a really great feminist read in my opinion, because it just talks about like using like female power and like what that meant at the time, at a time when women had a hard time like really getting into the business, and the things that they had to do to really get seen, and what she did, and like how powerful she could be with her body and such. And I'm really upset that no one ever talks about this, but this has lesbian, gay, and bi rep in it. No one ever mentions that, and I don't know if it's because they're trying to avoid spoilers, but like you literally can just say that there is that rep in there, and you don't even like, you don't give anything away, but you can literally say that this has gay, lesbian, and bi rep in it and be good. Like it has it. If you're looking for that, there it is. I can't say whether it's like great rep or not, but I feel like it was pretty true to the time period. I give that 5 out of 5 stars. That was probably one of my favorite reads of the month. It was so good. Moving along to the graphic novels. I read 2 graphic novels for Scallywagathon because I had to get that shit out of the way. One of the first things that I read was Snotgirl Volume 2. Didn't even realize this came out again on Hoopla. I love the Hoopla. If you don't have the Hoopla, find somewhere that has the Hoopla. Get the Hoopla. Okay? It's an online book borrowing service. Do it. Snotgirl Volume 2. If you guys don't know, Snotgirl was a much loved, artistic-wise graphic novel of mine. The storyline was a little iffy in the first one. Not really sure. It was about like green hair. She's a fashion blogger. She's not very nice. Her and her group of friends are not very likable. That was one of the reasons I didn't love the first graphic novel. It felt like it was kind of making fun of people. She meets this girl who she thinks is like the coolest person ever, and all of a sudden like she starts seeing like this girl dying, but then she's like alive the next day, and then someone like gets murdered, and just weird shit starts happening to her. So it's a little confusing, you know, so I had to see what happened in Volume 2. The art is just as stunning. I love the artwork so freaking much. I love Snotgirl. I just love the way, I love the green hair. I just love her. She's so fantastic. I love that she has allergies, cause same. Storyline did not clear up, got more confusing, and it was hard to follow, not really sure what's going on. And there was some just really weird scenes in this that just didn't make sense to me. I still am very interested in Snotgirl's storyline, but like some weirdness was happening between her and her friends. Like her friends were just so mean and I didn't really know what was going on, and the one girl was just being really weird, and there's one guy that like keeps appearing, and there's like this weird sexual tension between her and like her best friend's boyfriend, and like things just got strange, okay? And yeah, so I did enjoy it, but again, it's a very confusing storyline, and I think I like it mostly for the artwork. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. That may have been a little generous, but I just have a special place in my heart for Snotgirl. And then the other one I read was Raven the Pirate Princess Volume 4, Ships in the Night, or 2 Ships in the Night, or something along the lines of that. Raven the Pirate Princess is one of my favorite graphic novel series of all time, and I think it is like in danger of being canceled. So if you can get your hands on like the first volume or whatever, please do it. It's so good. It's such a great feminist read. It's about an all-female pirate crew like going to get back what's theirs from these nasty men. Just really awesome. You got all kinds of sexualities among them, but it's just got a very diverse cast going on. It's so funny. There's so much action. I love it so much. I will say though, this has been my least favorite volume to date. I feel like I waited forever for it and nothing happened in it. This follows one big fight scene that was very repetitive. I still love the characters. I do feel like there was some drama caused in this that didn't need to happen. Slightly annoying. And then there was the fight scene, and at first I was like, yeah girl, you get them girls, because they just kicking ass, but then it just kept going.
And it kept going. And it kept going.
And honestly, I feel like when the next volume comes out, you won't even need to have read this volume in order to understand the next one, because that is how little things happened in this one. I love the characters. I think there was an art change in this, and it took me the longest time to figure out who was who, because the art was so much different from the original art. It did bug me. I will say that bugged me a lot more than I care to admit. I still really enjoy the story. I really enjoy the cast. I'm gonna keep continuing on, but I also gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, moving on to the one poetry collection. I know, who the heck do I think I is reading poetry? We know I don't like poetry. I don't like modern poetry at all. I hate it. I never ever enjoy it. I don't know why I continue to do these things, but we all know I was going through a little bit of a rough patch at this point, and I saw this one called Depression and Other Magic Tricks. It was recommended to me on the Amazon of all things, and so I decided to check it out from the library and see what was going on there. And I gotta say, I actually enjoyed this. I don't know if it is because I could relate so much to the topic, because I mean, there is poems about depression in this, and there are some about anxiety, there are some about relationships. Really neat poems in here that I just really connected with at the time, so I think maybe that's why I enjoyed it more. I just felt like these had more substance than the ones that I'm used to reading, and it just overall, like, I was just more impressed with this. I was able to, like, I wanted to keep reading it for once. I did give this 3 out of 5 stars just because, again, like, some of them were not probably worth my time, felt a little regurgitated from other poems that I've read, but there were some really good ones in here that I really enjoyed. On to the adult book that I read this month. This was a continuation of a series, and I have been reading this book for upwards of about 3 months now. It's not because I didn't enjoy it, because it is Golden Sun. It is the second in the Red Rising series. I loved Red Rising. It did take me a little bit to get into this because there is a very large time disconnect between a Red Rising and Golden Sun. You guys don't know, this is about this futuristic world where, like, people live on the planets, and they're separated by colors. You are born into a color. Gold is at the top and red is at the bottom, and then there's things all in between, and they all have jobs that they have to do, and that is just how it works. Golds run the universe, literally. This follows Darrow, who is a red, and basically he is taken into a rebellion group and he infiltrates the gold system. The first one is all about this barbaric war that like takes place, and then this one it took place in a lot more of space, and he's definitely more into like the government aspect of what's going on now. I think that's why it took me so long to get through Golden Sun, is because it did take place in a more like political atmosphere, I guess, and there is a lot more action, a lot more like war scenes that involve like technical stuff. I'm not a sci-fi reader. Most things aren't really explained what they are for. You're just kind of supposed to like get the general idea, and I have such a hard time with that when it comes to sci-fi, because I just like, sci-fi is just not my thing. I have a really hard time picturing that stuff. There was a little bit of that disconnect, but I freaking love these characters. These characters are some of my favorite. They are just so kick-ass, so unapologetic. They just have like, they're so brutal, like no F's given whatsoever. And then there's Darrow, whatever you want to call him, and he is just like a sweet cinnamon roll with like spikes sticking out of him. And you're just rooting for him the whole time, and it's so much fun. I loved it so much. And the only reason I didn't give this a full 5-star is just because it took me so damn long, but I did give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, so love this series. Cannot wait to continue on. Moving on to the YA books, of course, there was a new release this month, one of my most anticipated releases, which was a Court of Frost and Starlight. Yes, I am Sarah J. Moss Trash. Welcome to my channel. So I pre-ordered 2 copies of this. One was a special edition copy, and then I got that special pen as well. And I was really excited. I know that it's a short one. It's only 230 pages basically, so I thought it was just going to be, you know, fun. I didn't expect much from it. If you guys aren't familiar, this is supposed to kind of connect the events that happened in a court of something, Court of War and Starlight, Court of whatever the last one was, the green one, whatever that one was. It connects that one along with whatever the next book is going to be, because the next book follows like way after the events of that one, you know what I mean. So it's supposed to be a connection between those. This just follows Feyre and Rhys in their lives. That's it. That's it. I wish this had a little bit more to it. For the most part, it was uneventful. Not much happened. You do get to see them interact with each other, which is lots of fun, but for the most part, like, I just didn't really care. There was a decent amount of repetition. It was just a lot of sexual things that just were like repeating, and most of the time I'd just be like eating that shit up, but there was like no tension leading up to it. There wasn't anything fun leading up to it. Like, I already knew it was gonna happen, so I didn't really care. It was a bit stale, I guess. And for the most part, like, I didn't think that we saw enough of the other side characters, and I was so much more invested into, like, there's a little snippet of, like, you get a preview of what the next book is going to be like. I was so much more interested in that than I was the whole rest of this book. So I gotta say, this was a letdown. Honestly, don't really think it's worth the time to read. So I gave that 3.5 out of 5 stars. I mean, I love these characters, but I just didn't really care for the story. Maybe these ratings were way too generous this month. I don't know. And then the last thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is To Kill a Kingdom. To Kill a Kingdom was one of the books that I really wanted to read first. Why can I talk? This is a Little Mermaid retelling, but it's a really dark version, and it is about this siren who kills a prince every year on her birthday, and she keeps their hearts. She has like 18 hearts shoved under her bed at this point, and what happens is she ends up betraying her mother, who is the queen of the sea. She is like the sea witch, the sea queen, whatever. And so she is turned into a human for punishment, and she ends up teaming up with the prince whose heart she was trying to steal and kill. And he is a siren hunter, and he is looking to kill. He is like hunting her down. That's what this is about. Super exciting. Oh my goodness, I loved this, especially the first 3/4 of this book. were amazing. It was so dark, it was so gritty, it was so gory, and then, well, not super gory, but it has some gore in it. There was some fight and stuff. It has such a strong hate to love thing going on. They were just throwing the wit at each other, and I loved it. I loved the crew. I love that there was a female on the crew, just saying. So I really, really enjoyed it up until I really thought this was going to be a 5-star book up until I got to that last quarter of the book. Things just were weird in the last quarter of this book. It was like action-packed. It is a little predictable. Like, you know how it's going to end. Honestly, wish that the ending would have been a little more like drastic and dark, and that probably kept it from being so amazing. But the end of it is just really strange. I had a hard time following the events that were like going on. There was just so much happening, and it was a little cheesier than I was expecting. And the one thing I just was really disappointed in was that we don't really get to know any of the side characters. Like, you know of them, you get little glimpses of them, you know that they are loved, but we never see why. We don't really get to know them. There isn't much interaction with them, and I am such a character-driven person. I love when there's an awesome cast of characters, so I just wish there would have been more investment into them as well. And I mean, I just loved the overall idea of this. I thought for the most part it was pretty well done. I just wish the ending had been done better. It just felt rushed, and just overall just wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. I did give this 4 out of 5 stars because I did really enjoy it though. So that is all of the things that I read in May. I feel like I have been talking for years. What am I doing? Let me know some of your favorite books that you read within the past month. I would love to check them out. Hope you guys have liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see future wrap-ups from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next time. Bye!